The Woodbine Mohawk Park Racetrack is located within the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit of the Anishinaabeg peoples and the Haudenosaunee, on whose traditional territory we meet. Mohawk, our namesake, is one of the Haudenosaunee nations, Kanyen-Kahaka, meaning the people of the flint. This territory is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee to peacefully take care of the land and resources around the Great Lakes. Woodbine Entertainment is honored to care for this land, our human and equine athletes, and provide a place to race responsibly that offers a meaningful way of life for thousands of Ontario families. Miigwech, Niawen, Kanaskomitten, merci, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's Woodbine Mohawk Park on a Saturday night here in Campbellville, Ontario. That's a live look outside right now. Things are looking good. I know we've got some more snow in the forecast that we could start seeing maybe midway through tonight's program. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. We've got 11 dashes here on a good-looking Saturday night on a fast track to start. All pacing dashes tonight, -3 Celsius, 27 Fahrenheit, typical for this time of year. And as you can tell by that flag in the infield, the wind, at least early on, isn't going to be any kind of a factor. Thanks for joining us here tonight, everybody, whether it's on track or tuning in via simulcast. Chad Roseman here to call the action. Randy Waples, John Rallis, standing by in studio to break things down on this 11-race card. And happy holidays to everybody. I know we've got a big crowd here on track tonight. It is our annual Winter Wonderland. A lot of great activities that started earlier this afternoon and continuing on through into the evening and the start of the program here for the entire family. And I could see we've got a big crowd downstairs and everybody enjoying their time. So thanks for visiting with us here at Mohawk Park. Let's get you caught up with tonight's program changes. We do have a late one that has just come in. No J.R. Plant here tonight, so he had a handful of drives. So we'll have some drivers that will have to get passed along, but this is new information that we've just received. Race number 1, early pick 5 begins. $75,000 is guaranteed in the pool. The 7, Marlene's Legacy, is in search of a driver. Race number 2, no changes. Third race to kick off the early pick 4. We have a judge's scratch of number 8, It Takes Two. Number 8, It Takes Two, scratched by the judges in race 3. Fourth race kickoff to tonight's pick 6. Number 9, Will's Watchin', will be driven by Trevor Henry. And we'll also change the shoes up front tonight, going flip-flops to steel. Next door, number 10, Freight Days a Week, Daryl Thiessen picking up the drive. In tonight's 5th race, number 2, primary driver, Doug McNair. Doug McNair driving the 2, primary driver. Number 8, My Ultimate Snowy, Swedish Blinds to Blinkers. Swedish Blinds to Blinkers, the change on 8, My Ultimate Snowy in the 5th. 6th race kickoff to tonight's late pick 5. Need a driver on the 5, choice is mine, driver to be announced. Number 9, Mr. Mystic, is going to add a screen tonight. Put a screen on the 9, Mr. Mystic in the 6th. Race 7, no changes. 8th race. Start of the late pick 4. Hasselhoff the 3. Driver to be announced. 9th race, open pace. It's the Evans Legacy. Pacing event here. $40,000 up for grabs and no changes. 10th race, number 4, Century Inspector. Driver to be announced. Need a driver for the 4 Century Inspector. And race 11 to close things out with the jackpot high 5. Carryover has grown to more than $61,000. Number 2, Mickey Ray. Driver to be announced. Need a driver on the 2, Mickey Ray, in our finale. That's it for changes. We'll get you caught up with those drivers once we get that information passed along. You can watch the ticker as well, and the guys will update you as they get it during tonight's pregame show. Let's head down there now. It's the Saturday edition of Woodbine Racing Live with Randy and John.
Campbell still the best, 19 in a row. Campbell.
Double the wire. Amity Chef wins the Simcoe Stakes.
He's big, he's strong, and he has got it going on. Top 25, Canada's horse. Some reach somewhere.
Yeah, motivated on focus.
They are up and pacing.
This is the moment. Gotta one on my opponent.
McWicked on the outside.
Gotta get it the mindset. Gotta put it in motion.
You gotta be kidding me. TCI wins the million.
Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, and they can't keep up. The game's on the line. Seconds.
Lean back. Get your picture taken.
Crowning moment on Canadian soil for Bulldog Hanover.
Motivated on focus.
A late push from Confederate. It's my show. Wins the big show.
This is the moment.
Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome back to another night of racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I'm along my co-host, the Hall of Famer, Randy Waples, and as Chad mentioned, I came into work tonight. There's a lot of people here. They've got the Christmas market. They've got a lot of stands there where you can purchase a lot of neat things. I think they had a movie playing earlier on the big screen there.
I think they had the light show
They
going
did have the
earlier
light show.
too.
They also had a lineup to take a picture with Santa, and line was a little bit long. I thought about it, but as I'm coming to the studio, it was a little strange because there was a naughty list sign, and your picture was plastered right on it. So I'm not sure what you did to deserve that, being on that list.
How much time do you got?
I don't know.
Listen, it took me a long time to get on that list. And I think it's going to take me even longer to get off of it. He's got a big memory, Santa Claus.
I would say people thought for a second it was going to be a meet and greet with you.
Yeah.
Only to realize that
this is it.
you're
Well,
on
since I've done the
naughty
hair
list.
there,
Yeah.
if I let the hair go the way that it is, I could be Santa Claus. Put a few pounds on.
I thought tonight, though, they would have a snowman building section where you would teach people how to build snowmen.
That I can good too.
I know
Well, you
you're
came in
good.
sharp tonight, didn't you? You did your studying right up, didn't you?
I'm a year older, so I feel a little bit sharper
Oh,
and
right.
wiser.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, for sure.
I have to kick off my 30 with a little bit more wisdom.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something. At 30 years of age, you got a whole lot more wisdom than I had.
Well, yeah, I've still got plenty to learn. As mentioned yesterday, though, we had some nice action last night. We had 11 races, solid card. Just probably more favorites than you and I would have liked getting the job done. Some horses getting bet down at prices that we didn't see coming. Some raced well in defeat, and others just got the job done at numbers that we really, we couldn't endorse at that price.
No, and there was maybe there was a little bit of a bias last night too on with the win because they really weren't coming home the way that they normally did. So if you had a horse that was well meant in that race and he got up near the front and kind of had things his own way, there was just doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of passing going on in that last quarter last night, but maybe tonight will be a little different.
So you had no issues passing horses last night was that mare of Jack Moiseyev's Absolution, a homebred of theirs who was able to deliver at odds of 4-1, a really good number for her.
We both had her.
We both had her. We loved the price, especially in a short field, and she put forth a super effort. We know she's got that late kick late in the mile, and she was able to time it accordingly, and you could tell after a few steps at the head of the lane, just a couple of them, you could tell she was getting into gear, and they weren't gonna, be able to fend her off.
No, she's. I mean, when she's covered up and doesn't have to do much, and I mean, she is devastating. This kick of hers, and we got another horse that seems to be back good again too, and that's Tells on a Roll.
Yeah, it was a nice effort by her. I mean, she had to, fight off a couple of horses there in between. That was a really good effort by her, just to show that fight, right? She had every reason to kind of pack it in. She didn't. Look, we didn't love the spot that Absolution was in per se. We would have liked, obviously, to her maybe pick up a spot, sooner.
A little closer,
right? So Much More was able to secure a spot just ahead of her. And look, when you're giving up positioning to horses that have so much talent and speed, it can be, sometimes that can be the difference, right? And we weren't sure if that was going to end up being the difference. It didn't matter.
No.
Absolution was lethal last night. And again, we say time and time again, just so impressed by the way that she's continued to progress this year.
And a big shout out again, like we talked last night there. I mean, they didn't start her off here. They spent a lot of times at the B tracks with Absolution before they brought her over here, and now they got a 4-year-old that's a legitimate beating up on the Mares Open right now.
We've seen Carmen Alcielo, as we see it. He had a training double last night, Flight Crew as well as Buck Dancer. Jackie Moe, he could have made it 3 last night. He came close with Chief's Dream Girl. She
Real
just
close.
missed out to Madrid. She raced really well last night also.
Yeah, it was nice to see Kevin Anthony bounce back after, the last week or whatever. I mean, Trevor really gets along well with that
He really
guy.
does. Sometimes those tiring trips, though, I mean, they can really, benefit, right? You take a different approach. The horse, pretty nice fitness test there, getting parked for as long as he did. And like you said, Trevor gets along with him well, gave him a perfect steer, and he was able to deliver. But I like the Saturday night program.
Yeah.
Last night I thought it was an
We had
okay
a good
card.
open.
There were some races I didn't have a good feel for, a good open, but we're going to have last night we had a good Fillies and Mares Open. Now we're going to have a good open here tonight. And
we're going to have a good open trot Sunday.
Yep, good open trot as well. We're not going to have Amigo Volo. We're not going to have Logan Park.
No.
But we are going to have a Sharp Safe Conduct and some other horses that I think are going to put forth some pretty good efforts. So, few nights in a row where we have our featured events with some, good fields and solid fields and good caliber horses as well. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, but when I say good, it just means like tonight there, in the open there. I mean, you can go Brew Hanover, you can go Taurasi, you can go Remember the Alamo. It's a short field, but there's many ways, different ways you can go. And I just find the same thing with the open trot coming on Saturday. Yeah, Safe Conduct is probably going to go off as the favorite. Somebody has to, but there's horses on either side of them though that could make it interesting and maybe could get the job done. But I mean, they're good opens right now. I think they're not one standout. There's just a good spread.
And you know what? As I mentioned, I was wrong. Short fields, like you mentioned, though, in a couple of those opens, the one last night, the one tonight. But anytime you have 3 or 4, main contenders with not much separating them, I think that's still pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think tomorrow we're going to see a deep field, but I think that Safe Conduct is going to be clearly the one to beat if he replicates last week's effort.
Guaranteed, and especially, too, with the middle of the gate, he's going to be really, really tough. But it's not going to be an impossible task. Now, if we were looking at the same thing with Logan Park drawing the middle of the gate, then you're starting to look at it as an impossible task. You know what I mean? So, I just think we got some nice racing coming up.
All right, let's kick things off here on this Saturday night program. We've got 11 on tap this evening, and we're going to go right to race number 4. That's going to kick off that pick 6 sequence. We've got a field of 10 here going postward, a pacing event. Got a couple of driver changes there on the 9 horse as well as the 10 horse. We've got some equipment changes on the 9 as well. So Trevor Henry will be aboard, Will's watching, and Daryl Thiessen will be aboard Freight Days a week. Morning line favorite is going to be the 5 horse Left Hand Lou. You and I, though, going the same direction to a horse on the inside that I think has put forth really strong efforts over his last couple of starts.
I agree. Axial, we're talking?
Yep.
So he comes out his very first start from the 8 hole, was a winner there. And then since that point, it seems to me like it's almost like they're trying to teach this guy how to be a racehorse, And I got to say that, the 2 starts down, Tyler did a great job finishing 3rd with him. Ends up being placed 10th. I don't know. I didn't really see it that way myself. But anyway, he got placed 10th. And then his next start, he comes up with him and comes up with another big effort from way off the pace with this guy. And this is the replay that we're going to show you on Axial in that last race. And this is some big major wheels on the end of it there. So I think that this guy is really starting to come into good form, this 3-year-old Captain Treacherous, and he's picking up McNair again tonight, a guy that knows him and a guy that can be very aggressive with him at times. And I think that this horse is right on the verge of needing an aggressive start. So let's take a look at Axial with Tyler Jones on the end of it. You can see Tyler right there, second last on the end of it there, and now he's going to split. And he is going to come with this guy. And look at the wheels. This is a big son of Captain Treacherous in here. Look at the wheels that this guy's throwing down. These are some nice horses up ahead of him. Paw Salt, Lions, Poppy Rock. But look at this guy come. Whoa. Hello, Doug. And he's going to be saying hello to Doug, too, in race number 4 because McNair is going to be coming back on board.
Yeah, Doug, I think, was listed on Axial. Was it last time out or maybe the start prior? He opts to go to Paw Salt, who ends up getting the job done. And now Doug's going to be listed on Axial, who is coming into this race really sharp. Well, you showed that replay in his most recent effort, but 2 starts back where he got placed. That was also a very good effort.
Huge
because
effort.
You could see Tyler kind of going in and out. He couldn't tell which seam was going to open, the one to the outside or the one to the inside. And it was a little bit of indecisiveness, but a little bit of he wasn't sure which seam he was going to get. But he was a horse that had some pretty good pace on the end of it.
He had lots of go. So none of us were surprised to see him come out and race the way that he did in that last start that we just showed. But I'm not going to say I was surprised, but to the same effect, though, too, I was impressed, John. I mean, 26-3, mile and 53, and that was only 5th lifetime start. This guy's really starting to show some big-time wheels, and like I said, picking up McNair tonight is not going to hurt him.
No, and one that I'm going to back. I think we're going to see this guy get bet. It is a tougher group tonight, though. Tonight's a tougher spot than what he took on last time out. I was curious to see what Tyler was going to do off the car, even with an outside draw. When you have a horse as live as he was 2 starts back, I mean, I was curious to see if Tyler was going to take an aggressive approach with him. He didn't, but he also put forth a really, really good effort. And now this is a horse who's coming into this event razor sharp, and I think that with a more aggressive steer, he's going to be a main factor. But you spoke about being impressed. I thought Doc Cernus was really impressive. I thought Left Hand Lou also raced pretty well. So those are a couple of horses coming into this start off sharp tries.
Absolutely, yeah. Both of them I thought raced really good. And to tell you the truth there, I mean, I threw in a horse I've been following quite religiously, and this is Stonebridge Impish. I think that this guy is also racing really, really well for Terry Fritz.
I think it speaks volumes of what you think of Axial going into tonight, because you really like Stonebridge Impish. I thought you would have maybe even rated him as a win candidate here, but this is a tougher spot.
It's a tougher spot, yeah, no doubt about that. And they haven't really, other than the one time, they haven't really put him into play. So I'm not really sure if tonight is going to be the night.
All right, it's a competitive way to kick off that pick 6 sequence. That kicks off in race number 4. We're going to move on to race number 6. That kicks off the late pick 5 sequence. We've got a field of 9 here, Randy. We've got a maiden class here for some 2-year-old pacing colts, and we've got a field of 9. Inside 2 horses, Ellington and Sunset Lou, those are the first and second choice on the morning line. I just don't see that being the case, especially given their dates.
Yes.
Right? November 2nd was the last time we saw Sunset Lou. This 2-year-old gelded son of Danson Lou. He's raced well, struggling to get there, and I'm not sure he wants to show that desire just yet. So I'm going to have to play against him. And Ellington, look, we haven't seen him race since October 16th. I can't see him taking support, even if his most recent effort was a good one. I mean, that's over a month in between starts. So I don't think those 2 are going to take support, but I think some other ones are going to take support, including this first timer that we're going to get a chance to see, Bejan Firefly. And I think this son of All Bets Off, Chad showed the qualifying effort yesterday on his qualifying report. I think both qualifying efforts have been sharp coming into his career debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really sharp qualifiers. The first one was good. The second one was really, really good. Now, interesting, I'm going to throw Bejan Firefly in for 4th, not because I don't like him, because we're going to show you this replay, and then by the time this replay is done, everybody's going to like him. So that's not really the reason. The reason I am going to put him in for 4th is because this is going to be his first lifetime start. I'm not 100% sure how hard they're going to want to race him, if they're going to want to get him into position, because they didn't do that in the qualifiers. They didn't leave the gate with him, and that kind of worries me a little bit. He might have the leaving ability, so be it. Then he ends up beating me in here. So where I'm going to go is the 8 horse, Cold Creek Nacho, picking up James McDonald. Now, we're going to show you the qualifier, the last qualifier of Cold Creek Nacho, but what we really want to show you as well is the horse that's on his back is Bejan Firefly. So you're going to get to see both of these both of these colts qualify. Now this is going to be one qualifier for Cold Creek Nacho. This is going to be second qualifier for Bejan Firefly. Cold Creek Nacho already had 3 starts under his belt, so he's got a little bit of ahead of him that way. So let's roll this and let's take a look at James McDonald and Billy Davis qualify these 2 individuals, and you can see that's James, and that is going to be Billy right on his back. Now, I'm going to go James up on top, and that's simply because, like I said, he's had 3 starts. I think they can be a little bit more liberal with him. This other guy, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do, but both of these guys, absolutely impressed me. Now, we got a split. James comes to the outside, Billy ducks to the inside. Now, as from a driver's standpoint, right now, advantage Billy. A horse will go big time when they're up the inside of horses, and no effort to do it. But right there, I would say Billy, again, letting this guy run out after the race. So again, not 100% sure how tough they're going to want to be on either one. I elect to go with the 8 simply because he's had, 3 starts underneath his belt.
I thought both qualifying efforts by Bejan Firefly were sharp. I thought the first one might have even been a little bit sharper. He had some pretty good go. I know we never got a chance to see that one, but again, it was a good one, and that one was a good one. I'm not sure what to make of Cold Creek Nacho here. Bit of an unknown, right? He's going to debut here for new trainer Daniel Walker. I know he was racing for Ben Hollingsworth for those couple of starts, but I would have loved to see a little bit more pop on the end of it. That being said, though, he's going to be coming out of a barn that's been razor sharp, and he's going to pick up the circuit's leading driver. So in a field that lacks a clear standout, why not take a shot? Because that's what I'm going to do here tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're both interesting kind of horses. You touched briefly on Sunset Lou. I agree with you there. I think if he'd have been coming back right after November the 2nd, I'd have probably put him up on top. He was trending towards a win, but with all the time off, I'm going to have to take a wait and see on him. A couple of the ones that kind of interest me, Lou Who has been interesting me for a while. I'm going to take a wait and see on him too, but Did you use Barbadian Breeze tonight?
Actually, it should read 4 on top for me, not the 6. I don't know if that was an error on my end or whatnot. Maybe I put the wrong number in. That's going to be my top selection. Is the 4-horse Barbadian Breeze. He's intriguing to me because I loved him the last time we worked together.
I thought
Absolutely
so,
loved him.
Yeah.
And the effort was, it wasn't a great one, but you see him pop up with the L beside his name a few weeks later. So there's just no way a horse could finish up that poorly without something gone amiss. So now that I see Lasix pop up in here, I say to myself, why not go right back to him?
What about our broadcast coup?
Yeah.
Instantly back to the 4.
Listen, I wasn't the huge Luhu fan. I thought maybe they would have. I thought maybe you would have had the 6 on top potentially because I know you've backed him.
I have. I like him, but
hard to like him off that most recent effort though. He didn't show anything.
No,
in that most recent
no.
try.
And the other thing is too is he's just been getting away so poorly.
Yep.
Thanks
for the team. Tough. Thanks for the team for making that adjustment. But again, I think the inside 2, while they're coming off some good efforts, I think these are 2 that I feel comfortable enough in saying I'm going to play against. So I think the ones that we're going to provide a little bit of intrigue. And look at, Garnet. Garnet going to Je ne sais quoi as a spot play here. I can't say I was in love with this qualifying effort, but it's hard to love anybody in this spot. It's why we're all taking swings.
Yeah, 100% for sure. And I mean, I'm not, Garnet goes je ne sais quoi, but I think that Blake McIntosh is kind of bringing in a pretty nice little 1-2 punch in here. I thought I got the 5-horse choice as mine. I got him in for second.
It was tough for me not to use Bajan Firefly on top because I tell you what, first time starter or not, those qualifying efforts are sharp. But like you said, I just don't know what kind of trip we're going to see off the car. Because when you come off 2 qualifying efforts, sometimes guys take 2 approaches. One where they're off the pace and one when they try to cut the mile and maybe show a little bit of gate speed. I haven't seen any bit of that, especially with some favorable draws. That to me is a little bit of a concern going into his career debut. Maybe we see something different tonight. Who knows? I do know one thing. I think we're going to see some life on the end of his mile. And that might, leave or not, I think that could be enough to get the job done here potentially.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, race number 6, that's going to kick off that late pick 5, a competitive field to kick off that multi-leg sequence. We're going to move on to race number 7. Got a field of 9 here going postward. Non-winners of 12,000 last 4, and we've got a pretty deep field here. We've got a few class droppers. We've got a couple of horses that are making a slight uptick in class, but coming off some pretty good efforts. Dublin Dasher, he's going to be dropping out of that open, as well as another Jody Cullen trainee, Pacino Hanover. But we've also got Colt Creek Queso, who has been trying in the opens over his last few starts, and he's coming off a nice second-place effort on November 22nd. This is a pretty deep field. A lot of horses racing really, really well. Which way did you go?
I'm looking at the races 6 and 7 as the Cold Creek double.
Okay.
I went Cold Creek. What is it? Cold Creek Nacho. Right on to Cold Creek Queso. Cold Creek Queso is the way that I'm going to go. We're going to show you the replay of that last one. I thought it was a really good. It was a good race. Only problem with him is the fact that I kind of thought that maybe he was a little bit out of position, a little bit too much ground to make up in against Arbitrage Hanover. If I remember correctly, Arbitrage Hanover got to the front, got away from them, and this guy it was just too much to make up. But he still kept coming forward, and I don't think Jody went right to the bottom for Cold Creek Queso. So I'm going to go with him on to Double and Dash.
Yeah, Cold Creek Queso, he just took him a little while to get motivated, and by that point, Arbitrage Hanover had put the slip on the field and put forth a good effort. He took a lot of support that night. He was well meant too. I mean, he was sitting on a good effort. We just opted to go to Cold Creek Queso, who was putting forth some pretty good tries in the open despite tougher company. I think that's a good spot to be at, or a good play there. I think Dublin Dasher definitely one that merits a lot of respect, dropping out of the open, as well as Pacino Hanover. I know you want to highlight the qualifying effort though on Write Me a Rose, one that we're going to see make his first pari-mutuel start since late September. We know he's got the class to be competitive in this field if he's on his game, and you like that prep.
Yeah, I did. I thought he looked incredibly good, and that's the replay that we're going to show in this race. The 8-horse Write Me a Rose, 1 qualifier under his belt, but he comes out of a barn and he's got a driver there that sometimes all they need is just the 1 qualifier, and really, really sharp-looking horse. Now, what's interesting about him as well is the fact that when he raced on September the 20th, it's a bit of a hidden line. This guy was wicked good on the end of it that day when they decided to shut him down. You can even see with the last quarter, 26-3. Trust me, he was loaded, and now he comes back off of the 1 qualifier. And look at the body language going here with Write Me a Rose. Just looks incredibly good out there. But he draws the outside. He's in against a couple of other horses that are really, really sharp right now too. So I'm going to put Write Me a Rose in for third. But there's going to be a few people that are probably going to play this guy up on top.
Yeah, and you know what? For me, Dublin Dublin Dasher, I opted to go to him in this spot because of the class drop. But one thing I'll say, though, I wish I saw a little bit more life at the end of his mile last time out, because the last time we saw him compete, I believe Cold Creek Queso, he was in that race. He had more on the end of it than Dublin did. I know Dublin wasn't, considered a big-time win candidate in that spot with some tough open pacers that he's been taking on. But just given the trip, given the ability we know he has, I still expected him to maybe pace home a little bit stronger in that outing.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I would say on his thing, he did go into that last race on a 2-week rotation, so he did miss a little bit of time, and it was a good track, tiring track. So maybe that's kind of why, because when he was on the 7-day rotation before that, he was always sizzling home on the end of it. I think it's a good pick on your part.
All right, yeah, I think I had a little bit of trouble because I don't think you can fault going Cold Creek Queso. I think Pacino Hanover definitely one that can put forth a pretty good effort. Those have been some sharp tries. I mean, he has some wheels on the end of it. He's going to need a trip to a kind of set up for him. But Billy Davis getting another opportunity to sit behind a Jody Cullen trainee. And they've been finishing up pretty well for him. He's put forth some pretty good efforts, getting some opportunities to sit behind that barn.
Did you stay with the very, very hot Xeron stable and use Jabberwocky at all? Because I laid off this time from the outside.
I laid off. Maybe I'm going to hear about it from Ricky later on. But no, I couldn't
His
back
barn's
him in this
hot.
His barn's well, but I think that there's a couple other horses dropping down that I think have just been a little bit sharper here in this spot. All right, we're going to move on to race number 9. It's going to kick off the final pick 3 opportunity of the evening. Or it's going to be the daily double. There's only 10 tonight, Randy. There's not 11. Oh, there's 11. No, sorry.
There is 11. You're right.
There's rolling daily doubles. That's what got me going. There's rolling doubles here. I always forget about that. All right.
We got 3 replays in the last 3 races.
And this is a great open pace here, but this is the Evans Legacy open pace. I know something that we've been doing on a yearly basis here. We'll see the graphic here as well, but a pretty good field here honoring Evan. And a lot of talent here, a lot of talent and a lot of speed, and I think there's plenty to look forward to. And there it is, the drive with us for Evans Legacy here taking place tonight, and of course our premier race, obviously being named after him as well. So I think we're excited, plenty of reason to be excited about this field going postward, Randy, and I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that rail starter too. Brew Hanover. I mean, he's coming off a pretty sharp effort, on his return to the races.
I completely agree. I think that this is going to come down to, the 1 and the 2 big time. I mean, I think Benoit's horse can still have a part to do with this from the outside. Outside's only going to be the 6 hole, so that shouldn't bother him that way. But I think that we were all waiting for Brew to come back. We were waiting for that first start to see how he looked. And boy, I say he looked good. You say he looked good?
He looked really good to me.
Well, let's take a look at it for the people out there to see what they think. And this is Brew Hanover, November the 22nd, in the open pace. And I just think that James gives him, I'm not going to say it an easy one, but I'm going to say that he wasn't tough on him. And I think this horse is going to respond off of this trip great. So the first thing I'd like to say is look at the weight that he has on. Look at the way that he looks in that and the way that he's tracking these horses. They did a great job giving this guy a little bit of time off, and now here he start to come again. James just letting him do his own thing here right now. First start back, see how much is in the tank, and then he's going to finally start to kind of maybe get into him a little bit more here, and now he starts to make him go. And this is going to work well on him. Like I said, on the run out, he gets by Arbitrage Hanover there, but he wasn't able to get by him in that race. But I think it was everything that we wanted to see, and I think that I'm ready to throw him back up on top.
Yeah, that was another really good effort by Captain Fear Not there to be third. And Billy opting to go to
that's
Arbitrage.
Who it was. Yes,
but he's opting
Captain
to go to
Fear
Arbitrage Hanover over Captain Fear Not. I don't think it's a wrong choice per se, but I just think that Captain Fear Not, again, a horse that has been racing really, really well. But again, also a horse that is trained by Paul Reed, but is being taken over right now for Kyle Fellows due to Paul Reed, obviously, breaking some babies in Florida right now. But a sweep of ones here. You could see James had him geared down just before the wire. I mean, it didn't matter if he finished 3rd or 4th. That was a horse with plenty of pace. Now, does the rail with him concern you whatsoever, given that Tarassi's going to come back a little bit sharper here tonight? And remember, the Alamo has got the best post of them all. Does that concern you in the slightest?
No, I don't. No, not in the least, because I think, James can punch out of there if he wants to, quite easily. And if he wants to draft a little bit and then maybe make a remove back to the front, if he wants to push a little bit harder, he's got Tarasi right on his right shoulder, and he's got, remember, the Alamo coming from the out of the gate. The worst, in my opinion, that he can get away in this race is probably 3rd or 4th. If he wants to make a remove, fine. If he wants to wait to the head of the lane, I think he can make that up. I think that this before he was shut down, was our top open horse. And the way that he came back with that first start last week, I say he's still the top open horse.
Now, did you get a chance to speak with the trainer Dave Maneri regarding Brew Hanover, and did you get an opportunity maybe to just kind of get an understanding as to why he stopped racing on August 16th? I know the start count was high. I mean, he had 18 starts. He was racing really well. There's still some big opportunities to race in plenty of opens and potentially some other stakes events. I'm not sure how heavily he was staked. I don't believe he was as staked as Irvin, but still a horse that I was expecting maybe to make some noise in some of those open paces.
Yeah, I think so. But like when I talk to him anyway, we do have when Brew's going to race there, we do have actually a voice, comment coming in from Dave Maneri telling us a little bit about Brew. But what I got from him, basically, he wanted to shut him down when the horse was still good.
Okay.
That's what it boiled down to. He didn't want to overdo it and then have the horse be tired and then shut him down. He figured, hey, I'll shut him down when he's fresh, and then that way he'll come back fresh. And I think that's basically what we're seeing. And like I said, stick around to race number 9 out in the post parade. We're going to have Dave Maneri's thoughts.
Yeah, and again, this isn't. Well, we do love Brew Hanover in this spot against Rossi.
It's no
He's gonna
giveaway.
Have another start under his belt, and that was a sharp effort. Remember the Alamo. I think if he turns on the jets here tonight, I know it turned into a bit of a sprint, and Tarasi can sprint with the best of them. Any horse can get beat in a sprint, and I think ultimately that's what it came down to last week. But remember the Alamo, if he starts going pretty quick like we know he's capable of, if he starts rolling, he might be tough to corral late in the mile.
Yeah, and I mean, Benoit's a really sharp trainer, runs a really sharp kind of a barn. He's not going to be hard on this horse every time that he puts him in to go, because he's never going to get the max amount of starts out of him if he's training him hard in between. So I think once in a while he's maybe going to go a little bit light. Maybe the horse is going to get picked off, and then the next week he's going to come back a little bit harder. So, remember the Alamo. I just think that it's a really big time 3-horse race with the 1, the 2, and the 6.
All right, the Evans Legacy Open Pace, that's going to take place in race number 9. We're going to move on to race number 10, and I mentioned moments ago about the opportunities that Billy Davis has gotten to sit behind Jody Cullen trainees and the job that he's done with them. There's one in here that I went back to that you loved. You made her your horse to watch last time out, and that's Shane's Dream. This was a great claim for Jody Cullen, I think. I mean, this is a mare that Gelding, I should say, that I think has got plenty of speed, and he's starting to piece it all together. I liked his efforts at Kawartha, and he's been putting forth some strong efforts here on the big track. And he stepped up in class last time out, though, Randy. And he really put forth a pretty good effort.
He's going to have to really step up because, I mean, 3 starts back, he was racing in 20,000 claimers, when he was picked up then. So did you go Shane's Dream?
Yeah, I backed him off that effort last time. I know you loved him off that replay. You made him your horse to watch, and tough for me not to go back to him, given that effort. He had plenty of go.
Who do you got in for second?
I think I went to Steamboat Springs.
That's where I went. So what separated you between Steamboat Springs and Shane's Dream?
I just need to see a little bit more fitness from Steamboat Springs in terms of just finishing off those miles, because he cut it 2 starts back, he got tired, and last time out he worked out a pretty favorable trip and he wasn't able to gain. That to me was a little bit of a concern, but I know he's got the speed and the ability, but I need to see a little bit more at the end of it.
I think you're spot on, and that's the exactor that I'm going to go 1 and 3. And the biggest reason what's the difference is the separator. Steamboat Springs raced November the 9th. Shane's Dream raced November the 9th. Shane's Dream comes back 6 days later. Steamboat Springs doesn't race again until November the 22nd. Shane's Dream comes back on the 22nd. He's got a buffer in between, 1 extra start, and I think that is going to be the separator in here tonight, because I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that we've seen the absolute best fitness-wise yet out of Steamboat Springs.
And let's cue up that replay from Shane's Dream, because like we mentioned, that was a really good effort. He was coming off a winning trial November 15th, and he followed that up, stepping up in class with another really, really sharp effort. If he had some racetrack, he would have been an even bigger factor. He would have picked up a much bigger piece, I'd say.
And take a look at who he's racing against here. I mean, Bruno, no. I mean, if Bruno, no was in this race, he's 1-5, So I think that this guy is really putting up some nice races, Rapasso also in this race, he's going to put up a nice effort in here as well. Like, he's racing against really, really nice horses. And you can see Billy going to be coming from way out of it, and now boom, the shoulders go back and the whip goes back. There's no place to go. Now he finds a little bit, and again, he's able to start him going forward again. I just think that this is a really, really nice horse, and I think he's a really, really good claim by Jody Cullen.
And again, he's coming into this race razor sharp at Billy Davis being able to engineer him in those steers over his last few tries. But Travis Cullen's going to be aboard tonight, and he's getting a sharp horse, and he's getting a horse that's going to be sitting on a pretty big effort. What do you make of early action tonight? He's going to be racing off the claim from Victor Putty. I think his efforts have been pretty good as of late, too.
I'm still going to use him as a part of it. You know, I threw him in for third. You know, he brings so much. I'm not saying that he's the ultimate horse right now, like in this group, but look what he brings class-wise: $733,000 lifetime, and a mark of 49 as a 2-year-old, 23 wins to boot. So he brings a lot, this guy. And, you know, moving from Osceola into Putty, I look at that as more or less a bit of a lateral move in there. I'm just going to go with Shane's Dream because to me he's fresh on, and I think he's racing against better horses than what some of these other ones have had to compete against.
All right, there's our thoughts on race number 10. That's going to close out that late pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 11. That's going to close out the Saturday night program. We've got a field of 10 going postward here in the finale. A pretty wide open group, I'd say.
I struggled with this
I
race.
struggled with it too. Ultimately, I opted to go to the morning line favorite Stone Carver, who I thought put forth a nice third-place effort in his most recent try. I think just being back on a regular rotation, having a second start back, I think that ultimately could be the benefit. But I think you can sell me on a few others in here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got Stone Carver in for second. So much to like. You know, he just fresh horse. Just coming back, his first start, a good one. We've seen him compete at a much higher class than what he's seeing in here tonight. And he picks up James. And that's the thing that I kind of find with Stone Carver, too. I struggle with him. You know, I mean, you can get him when he's real good, and then you can get him when he's, you know, stinkola. So I threw him in for second here tonight. I like the way that he's kind of coming back. You said I could sell you on just about anything in there. Well, I'm going to try to sell you on the 10 horse. Drinking Buddy is the way that I'm going to go in here. So let's take a look at the no replay on Drinkin' Buddy. Let's take a look at this last line on him, though. Dougie McNair jumps up on him for the first time, and I thought it was a really good effort. Now he's going to drop down a class. Unfortunately, does pick up the 10 hole right now, but he's such a handy little horse. I don't think it's going to cause a big problem. And look at the horses that this guy has been competing against his last couple: Uncle Shank, Captain Fear Not, Head Honcho, Pacino Hanover, where he didn't actually have to race in there. But before that, Century Komodo. I mean, he has really been up against it. And I think that he's in a spot now with McNair that he kind of maybe make things happen in here.
Doug can make them fly off the cart. Outside draw or not, he can get a horse out of there. And like you mentioned, Drinkin' Buddy was one that I was close to going to on top because of what you mentioned, who he's been taking on. Those are some much tougher rivals than the group that he's going to be taking on tonight. The equalizer for me was post 10. That ended up why I went to a Stone Carver in this spot. One that I think is going to put forth a pretty good effort, but I think you can make the case for the 5. You can make the case for the 6 if he's on his game. I just don't know what took place with Living the Beach Life last time out. He worked out a picture-perfect trip.
Empty.
And he couldn't even, he was all done before they even approached the final turn.
He was just empty. Yeah, he just did not have a good appearance. I moved him in for 5th. And to tell you the truth, Bet the BB, I thought he was a little bit tired in his too. And I got him in for 4th. So the only thing with Bet the BB, though, it's been a while since somebody sent him down the road like Travis did last week when he was the favorite. And with me, I think that helps when you go back to racing them the other way.
All right, that's going to be race number 11. That closes out our preview on tonight's program. But before we end the pre-show, we're going to look at some pick 5 ticket ideas. And let's start off with the Hall of Famers ticket first.
Okay, just one single in this first bunch, John. And that is going to be in race number 3. And that is going to be Blue Hun, dropping from the open in his last 2 starts. 3 out of his last 4 starts has been open, and tonight he's in non-winners of 9,000 in a short field. I think he's going to be tough in there, and everything else is just kind of it's a $24 ticket. I go 2 by 2 onto the single, by 3 by 2. So, I just think it's one of those races or one of those opening sequences of the pick 5 where I think you're going to have to go a little deeper than what I would normally go anyway. You know me, I love singles.
I'm surprised you didn't go to bunkhouse spots or use them tonight.
I liked him last week there, but to me, he looked to me like he was a +1.
Okay.
One more start, and then maybe be able to get a good one into him.
All right, there's my pick 5 ticket idea.
Whoa.
Race 5 should read number 5 again. It might just be me if I put the wrong numbers. That is my mistake. I'm seeing a lot of things as of late, so I'm not sure if that was a me mistake or not, but I appreciate it. Yeah,
they're amazing.
Just working on the fly, making me look good. But I'm going to go 4 by 4 to kick things off. I'm with you. Blue Hun, I think, is going to be a popular single. Once he touches down on the lead, good luck getting to him. I'm going to go all in on Axio. I love that his last 2 efforts. Doug's going to be aboard tonight. I'm going all in on him. What you're looking at for me, a little bit of a risk. I'm just going to hope that his class can prevail here, especially with an improved draw tonight. But I do think he potentially, it's funny, I made it my best bet, but the more I look at it today or coming into this card, he could be susceptible potentially. But we know he's got the speed, Randy. You don't have to sell me on the speed. I think he's got it, but he's got to be able to piece it together tonight.
He just, for whatever reason, he just hasn't come back the way that we kind of thought that he would. But then all of a sudden last week, he gets nothing done to him. He goes to the back of the pack and springs home in 25-4. I say that's the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm also putting him up on top.
All right, there's a look at our pick 5 ticket ideas, and now we're going to go to our plays board and let's look at your 4-pack tonight.
Okay, you're gonna have to stick around all night for mine. I'm gonna start off in race number 2. That's gonna be my worth a look. Fire Control, horse that both of us has monitored the odd time, picking up James McDonald tonight in a short field. Lots of speed. Hopefully James gets along with him because I don't think he's the easiest horse to get along with. Race number 9 is my all-in. That's gonna be Brew Hanover, Waples Watch. Race 10, Shane's Dream. And Beat the Favorite is going to be Drinking Buddy in the last race from the 10 hole.
I like your worth a look there. I didn't put him on top, but I did include him in the pick 5 sequence because I think that's appropriately put, because he really is worth a look in that sequence because the speed's there. He's just he's got a lot of quirks that he's got to iron out. Spot play is going to be Axial for me. My best bet, what you're looking at, my rebound, Barbadian Breeze in race number 6, and my all-in Brew Hanover. So there's a look at our plays board. I know we're not going to get a chance to see some of our resident handicappers and their thoughts and selections. Gislan Piquet, you can follow his thoughts on Twitter. You can see Garnet Barnsdale's thoughts in the Horse Player Journal, and we've also got some picks on NahooPicks.com. They always provide free thoughts and selections from a myriad of handicappers as well. We've got 4 minutes to go before we kick off this Saturday night program. Randy and I will be with you all night long, and what's a pretty intriguing card.